Hi there, I'm Daniel Rosen from theScore eSports, and I'm here with Luffy right before EVO. And I guess I wanted to start by asking you about, how you feel about Street Fighter V right now as a competitive game, especially in comparison to Street Fighter 4.
The game is really different. It's more offensive based, and my character isn't in the game, so I had to adjust and try a new character as well. There is also new mechanics in the game, like the V system. And yeah, it's really the opposite, as Street Fighter 4 was really defensive based and offensive for Street Fighter 5.
And you were a player kind of known for having a really strong defense, particularly with a character like Rose, who was good at building that kind of wall. Did you find it was kind of hard early on to make that adjustment to playing kind of more offensively?
Yeah, it was. It was because every character in Street Fighter 5 have to play offensively to get to be effective. So it was difficult because I've played for 7 years like a defensive style based character. So yeah, it was difficult.
Do you find that it's just not conducive to playing a defensive style? Like just even trying to apply a defensive style of play to characters just doesn't really get you very far in this game?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think even pretty much character like Fang, which is really defensive when you look at it, has to play really offensive to get some damage in.
Speaking of kind of the character stuff, I think you were playing Nash early on for meter stuff, and now you've swapped to Mika, and I think Mika is where you're at right now. Why, what was the reason for that switch, and why did you go for r.mika? Because I think that's certainly not the character most people would have necessarily associated with you early on.
Because when I was playing Nash, I had some difficulties with his world speed, because his world speed is really slow, which make like a front trap and close range really difficult. Even though he has a very good dash. But with Mika, I like her world speed, I like her offensive mix-up. And I really think that, as I said, Street Fighter 5 is based in offensive, and Mika is very strong in that part.
I guess what was the switch? Was she the first character that came to mind for switching over, or did you just try to experiment with everybody until you kind of found
she's
her?
the first one. I got lucky.
What do you find then, because her strength does, you said, is that the mix-up potential, or her strength in the corner. What do you find then, what are the harder matchups for you? What do you find are her weaknesses?
It's a character which can zone me very badly, like Ryu, Nash. Every character with Fireball is really hard for me to get in. If Mika doesn't get in, it's hard.
But once Mika's in, that's her game, right?
Yeah.
Something that a lot of players I kind of have been talking to have talked about is that obviously the game is offensive, but also you don't seem to have any options. When you're, say, on Wake Up, you're free for whatever they want to do to you. Do you find that that's one of the troubles with Mika is trying to do anything, or is that simply just one of the issues that every character has?
I think it's one of the issues that every character has, but some characters have a DP move, which is invincible, which make it one more option. But yeah, overall, it's not like a Street Fighter 4, where you can do the option select throw, which cover most situation. And Street Fighter 5, you already have to make a choice, and if your opponent mind it, you are going to take it bad, I guess.
Obviously, you said that your practice on that sort of more defensive style on the option selects on everything that was Street Fighter 4 for 7 years. Do you find that you like that Street Fighter 5 is more offensively based, is more like that, or is that something that you're just not as big a fan of right now?
I'm not a big fan of, because I prefer slow-paced game with where defensive options are good, because I like to be in control of everything. And in Street Fighter 5, since you have to make a choice in everything, sometimes it's really hard because it's a matter of luck or a matter of good guess. And I don't really like it.
I see. Another thing I've been talking to a lot of players about is kind of having mental strength and being able to kind of stay calm during a match and be able to assess all the, like you said, making a decision at every moment and trying to assess your opponent's decisions and your decisions at the same time. Do you find that at least now when you aren't as in control, it's easier for you to kind of lose that focus?
Not really. I pretty much stay concentrated the whole game. I'm okay with it.
Another thing that's kind of like obviously been a lot of people have been talking about is the 8 frames of input lag. Do you find that affects you at all?
Yeah, it does, because in SF4 and other fighting games, mostly you play with reaction, and with the 8 frame lags, it make it more harder. It's more like guess every time, and without those lag frame, I think it will be really easier to play by reaction.
Would you want like the 8 frames of input lag like to be lessened back down to something more manageable like Street Fighter 4's input lag was?
Yeah.
What do you think that would do to the game besides just like, obviously reacting better? Do you think that like, character strengths would change at all?
I think it will. Like for example, every Ken who use the V skill, the run, if you don't have the 8 frame lag, most people could react to it, and it will change many things in the game. Actually, with a lot of characters, you try to play on that aspect, like because you know that you have many options, and it's difficult for the opponent to concentrate on every option to counter it because of the 8 frame lags. And if not, they will be more concentration on everything.
So I want to talk to you about kind of, you were in Street Fighter 4 and now as well, you're still like considered one of Europe's strongest players. How do you feel about, I guess, Europe's strength like right now in Street Fighter 5? Like where do you think the region is at?
I think we are pretty good. We are better than SF4 for the earlier day, and because like at Dreamhack Summer, Phenom won the tournament. He beat a lot of Japanese, and I think it was the first time that a European player won a premier tournament, beside Evo, of course. So I think we are doing pretty good at that moment, but we have to see in some more years.
I was running, speaking of Dreamhack Summer, you had, I think you played Fudo there, who's another r.mika. What do you think of, like, I guess the r.mika, the mirror match? Like, what do you find was, I guess, the differences in your play styles there?
Well, at first, I don't know the matchup at all, because I don't have any r.mika player beside me to train with. But I guess it's mostly random. The one who gets the first knockdown can get the win.
It's interesting how that is sort of like playing r.mika playing r.mika is every character playing r.mika, right? Like if she gets to you in the corner or you're on the ground, it's over.
Yeah.
Who do you then feel like are the strongest characters right now in Street Fighter 5?
I think without any order, it's the top 5 is Chun-Li, Ryu, Nash, Ken, and Nekali.
It's interesting that those are all characters with an invincible reversal, right?
Yes, it's very important in this game.
Is that sort of the thing that kind of pushes them above?
I think so, because they have one more option at wake up. Because the moment where you deal the most damage is at your opponent wake up. So if you have just one move that can beat every option, it's really great.
So kind of towards wrapping up, I was wondering if there was, we talked about the 8 frame lag, and this might be it as well. But if there was something that you were able to kind of link it back as a change, like say like, hey, I think this should be changed about Street Fighter 5. What would it be? Actually,
I don't like the crush counter system in Footsie's game. I think that the crush counter system should be when you punish a DP, but not in mid-screen Footsies, because there is some characters that are really strong at that. And that make like Footsie's game non-existent, because you really fear of getting hit by a random crush counter, and I think it shouldn't exist in mid-game Footsies. I see. Evo's tomorrow. Do you have any like way you like to prepare besides just practicing for Evo? Actually, this morning I just went in training mode with every character against Mika. With Mika against every character, just to memorize every move, every finish, and we'll see how it goes. All right, well, thank you so much, and good luck this weekend. Thank you.